today on the 50/50 podcast, and yes, it is Kyle. It is Kyle here.
It is Kyle.
Matt cannot be here with us because he is feeling a little under the weather.
Matt's on the
Matt with the chair.
Yes, sir.
It's Matt with the chair.
And we're talking about we're getting a little philosophical today. We're talking about the meaning of life, ideology. He's meditating or something.
Yeah. Exactly. I am being Oberyn.
We can. Oh, and speaking of Oberyn, we talk about DnD sessions.
Yeah.
We talk about what is our future plan and some very interesting theories that I think you might like. All that and more on the 50/50 Take It or Leave It podcast. Hello and welcome to the 50/50 Take It or Leave It podcast. So, guys, we are talking about philosophy, yeah? Or something like more specifically, I kind of went with like meaning of life for me, kind of like things that I kind of follow in terms of just, what did you guys kind of come, I mean, if you guys want me to start first, because I've been kind of following this for like a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is something that I've kind of had in the back of my mind for quite some time. I guess once I got into college, I started really getting into it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Do not see you being a very philosophical man.
I tend to get into deep thought, as my character usually does in D&D as well. I mean,
No, your character meditates.
Yeah, he does deep thinking like me. We're so similar.
You know what Zion's thoughts on your meditating is?
The same as everyone else's.
No, he thinks you're sleeping.
That works. So to provide a little bit of, I guess, background to mine, it kind of started when I was in one of my professor's classes for the meaning of life. It was one of the first classes that I took in college, and it really helped me kind of mold what I kind of wanted to follow, like a certain virtue or something that I really wanted to get into, because I didn't really have a goal set when I came to college, but you know, I took that class and it kind of helped me get through a couple of things and help me figure out what I want to do. And that is kind of boiled down into, if you are really, really, really passionate about something, you just go ahead and do it no matter what it is. You know? Like, I'm really, really, really passionate about broadcasting, and I want to be involved in it. I want to do everything I can to be involved in it. And I kind of take that into account with my life too, because if you really truly believe in something, like you really want to set your mind to a certain goal, if you put in the amount of effort and time and your mindset is right, I think you should be able to accomplish what you want to do. And I put that into a lot of stuff with me.
I like that.
Yeah, like projects, assignments, my life in general, getting, working out again. Got to get back into that mindset. Because if you truly want something, then you will do whatever it takes to get it. And I feel like that is a virtue that I have to follow in order to be successful. Because you can't get successful without going anywhere. You can't just. That's
true.
You gotta walk before you can run, essentially.
Yep.
And I kind of follow that to a T.
You get what you earn.
Sometimes you gotta run before you can walk.
True. Sometimes you just gotta go headstrong into it. You just gotta throw everything you have at it, and if it fails, it fails. But you can tell yourself that I at least tried, and if I want to do it again, I will, because I believe that I can achieve it. I've learned from it, and I'm going to hit it harder than ever before. That is something that I have grown accustomed to in these last few years. So it's just something that I.
Do you find that you try to follow the same motto of philosophy, or the same ideal of philosophy at every turn of life, or every aspect of your life, or do you find different philosophy methods work better in different scenarios within your life?
I feel like that the philosophy I follow kind of retains most things in all aspects of my life. Relationships with people, Like if you truly feel passionate about a person, you would do anything to kind of keep that person in your life because you're passionate about that person. And if you really want to achieve a goal, if you're super passionate about the goal, then you'll achieve that goal if you put your heart and mind to it. Same thing for, your social life, your academic life, well-being, mental well-being, whatever the case is, that's just how I kind of think things in a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, it's a fair question. I mean, sometimes when it comes to philosophies, you can be so headstrong in that philosophy that, sometimes it might not be the best way to go, but it's not really something that other people can kind of tell you, It's just something that you believe is kind of the way of life. Like, it might not be your way, but this is how I do it my way, and I've been doing great, and so I'm going to keep following it, Yeah.
Matt, what's kind of your thought process, ideology when it comes to the schools of philosophy?
Yeah, so I didn't really know it was called this, but I guess I kind of follow Stoicism, if you guys know what that is.
I remember hearing about it in that class. It's been a while, but that term just sounds familiar to me.
Mitch, have you ever heard of that?
I have not. I looked up a couple different, very intro branches, basically, and I did not see that one on there.
Yeah, the gist of it is, and I haven't looked into it too much. I just found this out because I started looking at it and I'm like, oh, that kind of sounds like what I do. It's just not really caring about what other people have to say or what other people think about you or about the things you do. It's more just about introspective, self-reflection.
Okay.
And that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I see you fitting into that very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of screams your personality.
Because other people, man, they're monsters sometimes. I'm gonna tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the world is a dog-eat-dog world out there.
It really is. I mean,
a dog-eat-dog world.
A dog-eat-dog.
Dog-eat-dog. Not doggy-dog.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a doggy-dog world.
It's truly a Snoop Doggy-Dog world.
Oh, my God.
D-O-double-G.
The D-O-double-G.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. No, but I get what you're saying. I completely understand where you're coming from. Sometimes it's just...
Well, because you can't rely on friends to be there. You want your friends to be there, but at the end of the day, if they're not, you're going to let yourself down even further down this hole that you found yourself in.
Yeah.
If you...
Oh, right, and, when you get out there in the real world, people aren't going to help you.
No.
I mean, maybe, if you find some really nice person, they'll help you, but, you're on your own out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have a helping hand as soon as you step out into the real world. I mean, unless you got really, really good connections or you just have the greatest of luck. But
and kind of on the reverse side of that, there are people out there that want to help everybody, but they've been burned by so many people taking advantage of them that they don't extend that hand anymore. So it's kind of it's a one person kind of ruins it for everything, where it's like this circle of life where it's okay, this super helpful person wants to help a lot of people, and this person that needs help gets help from this super helpful person.
Yeah.
But now the super helpful person doesn't offer help anymore because he or she or they got burned by a person that uses people just on the sole fact that they just go from person that's super helpful to person that's super helpful and just uses them for everything and then leaves when it's most convenient for them. And I know my personality is that I want to help as many people as possible. It's, if you don't understand something, I'm always there to try to help explain it to you and make sure that you do understand it. And if I don't understand it, then we're going to go through this together and try to figure it out. I'm going to try to find the right people to help you and me figure this out. And I constantly am having to check who I'm helping and who I'm not. And is the effort I'm putting into whatever person, is that going, and it's kind of a crappy way to look at it, but as at the end of the day, are they going to be putting in the same effort?
Are they paying dividends?
Yeah. I think I have talked about this on the podcast before, but I look at it as like an emotional bank account. You know, there are things that friends do to take withdrawals and they make deposits. And at the end of the day, if they're making way more withdrawals than they are making deposits, like, it's that you have to identify that person as a user. That's what, and I use the term user. I don't mean that to sound super negative, but I mean, there's a negative connotation with it because it has hurt me, and a lot of my family has worked in the social work field, and those people that need that are socially handicapped, they are constantly being used by users.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of the people that my family work with, they have like the biggest hearts, and if you sit down and have a conversation with them and actually get to know them, they're the nicest people, but they their environment is just filled with people that identify them and take advantage of them constantly. So I get the term user from a lot of my extended family who work with people like that a lot. Or they don't work with them, but they work with clients that deal with users a lot. Like, the user will be like, hey, I need $500, and they'll just give them the $500. Yeah, no questions asked. I'm like, God. Oh my geez, how can you just give someone $500?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like their whole that's like their whole month's worth of pay. Like, that's what they use to pay bills and groceries.
That's about a whole paycheck right there.
Yeah, and then they have then the clients that my grandparents were, or my not grandparents, but family members work with, it gives them a bad look because now they don't have any money, and they're like, well, you're getting assistance from these programs. Why don't you have any money? Well, it's because people that are users come in and they take that money, basically.
They use them.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So those type of people really grind my gears, and you got to really watch out because there's a lot of like low level users. Like, they don't do it a whole lot, but just enough. It's like,
Are you really giving? Are you really giving me as much as you're getting?
What are you looking out of this friend? What are you trying to get out of this friendship? When I have to ask that question, then it's like, I don't know if I should be friends with you anymore.
Fair.
Like, what's the benefit to you?
I think that's something that people don't know anymore. Like, is when to pull the ripcord on friendships and stuff.
Yeah,
it's
sometimes you just gotta know when to leave. Like,
yeah, it's tough to do.
Walk away.
Yeah. You can only have so many red flags before it eventually just becomes like, all right, fam.
Now it's a fire.
Yeah, all right, fam. We're gonna have to.
Now it's a fire.
We're gonna have to call this quits because there's just too much. It is a hazard to my life. So we're gonna have to call it quits, which leads me to yours, Mitchell. You seem very strong on the users and usees, I guess. Does that tie into like how you kind of envision your meaning of life or your ideology in a way?
Well, and I just don't want to go off this because I started on a tangent with it, but
yeah, I mean,
I try to go off of I scratch your back, you scratch mine, and not to phrase it like this, but like an eye for an eye, like, you do this for me, I do this for you.
So you follow the golden rule to like a T almost.
Almost.
Where you're like, you want to be treated the way you treat others. So
yeah,
like,
and I know that's
more of a quid quo.
Yeah.
Quid pro quo.
Yeah.
Quid pro quo, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of that than it is a golden rule.
Okay.
Because that's just treating others the way you want to be treated, but quid pro
quo is like...
That's...
struggling with that a bit, man.
I give you something, you give me something.
Yeah. And I know that's like when you when you actually sit down and
oversimplify it.
Yeah.
To it, but.
Yeah, it sets you up for failure, to be honest, because like you can't expect me to not voice on how I'm, like, if I don't tell someone how I'm treating them, how can I expect them to give me the same level that I'm giving them? So with this mindset, I do account for, like, I give a lot of people second chances and third chances, and I give people way more chances than they should get, in my opinion, and that's something I have to work on. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Matt, you talk about how sometimes you just got to pull the ripcord, and that's hard for people to do. I 100% agree with that.
Yep.
Only because I know I have a really hard time pulling that ripcord. It's for someone like me, it's really hard for me to cut a tie that I have I used to have a strong attachment to. It's like it's something that I want to do, but then I think back, I'm like, oh, but all this, this and this happened between us, and oh, what about that great time we had together, or what about those that weekend we went and did this together.
Those rose-tinted glasses, take them off, Mitch.
I know, it's so.
I to move on. Thank God.
I can get behind what you're saying though, because it's always like, when it comes to me, and it's almost like with almost every decision that I make, I always think about what'll happen if I do or don't do this. Like, and it's almost like not just immediate consequences, but long-term stuff. And like, what if I did this, or what if I did this? And it sometimes can be good because you're kind of pre-planning for things to happen, but that can also be bad because you start pre-planning for things that will probably not even happen. Like, you start making up conclusions and things like, oh, well, if I do this, then this will definitely happen. And then you start kind of getting into that zone of like, this is happening, this is happening. In your own head. Yeah.
And I fall victim to that a lot, actually. Yeah. If I've gotten way better about this, but my roommate freshman year will attest to this heavily. He'll be like, because I asked him, because he left at semester, I was like, so just in case I could get a roommate, what are some things I did that were annoying that I didn't pick up on? He's like, well, you weren't that bad of a roommate, but there would be times where I wouldn't be angry and I'd just be chilling, and you'd ask me what was wrong. And when you'd ask me what was wrong, it made me angry.
Make me angry.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my gosh. So over the past like 4 years, I've tried like working on it. It's really hard because, you know, there's so many social cues. Even like I do it a lot with like texting and Snapchat and all this other social media stuff, and not in-person conversations too. But those are easier for me to read it, like not over-read into. You know what I mean? Where I know how to look at like facial expressions and body posture and tone shift and all that stuff. That's easy for me to identify and be like, okay, they were just joking, or hey, they're actually pissed off. Or when someone says like hey with a period, depending on the person who sent it, could mean like 15 different things.
It also kind of depends on like prior like messages as well. But I can also see like people are just naturally gifted with what I like to call the RBF.
Oh, yeah.
So people are just naturally hard to read if they always have that face where it's like, I just look angry. And it's just like, well, you look angry, so I kind of want to ask if you're doing all right.
Yeah, and I always have to...
There's a vein popping on his forehead today, so maybe he's a little bit angrier than usual.
Maybe he's agitated, you know?
And then it's the question of, do I even talk to him about it? Mm-hmm. Like... There will be times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want anyone talking or asking me what's wrong because I don't want to talk about it. And I have to remember those specific times in me because I'm like, okay, maybe this person does not want to talk about it. And it becomes a tricky two-way street because it's like, well, no one asked me what was wrong, so what? No one really cares. It's like, well, maybe you didn't want us to ask you about it. Like, if you wanted us to ask about it, maybe you should have mentioned something like, hey, I'm having a really rough day. And then we'd be like, oh, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
And so it's everything for me comes down to communication breakdown. As a communication major, communication breakdowns happen all the time, and there's no way to avoid them. It's how you like recover from them is how you become a good communications expert, if that makes sense.
I can get that.
Which I know is not quite philosophy, but I mean, it plays into... Communication and philosophy, I feel like, are closer than people want to realize because your mindset depends on how you communicate. If your mindset is, I don't rely on anyone, all right, I make my own path, and which is essentially that's what it is, correct? I don't want to put words in your mouth here.
I mean that's it.
Yeah. If that's your mindset, then if you're trailblazing and you're just super focused and you almost look pissed off, you don't want someone like me who's more of a, I want to make sure everything's, essentially, to break it down super simply, a people pleaser, which I hate saying that, but it kind of, that's what I am sometimes. You don't want a people pleaser getting in your way and slowing you down to, like, you're on a mission, and then someone stops and be like, hey, what's going on? Like, you don't have time for that. And that frustrates you. So just, and that plays, like, into the whole philosophy mindset. Like, those are two clashing philosophical mindsets there. It's one that wants to verbalize and talk about. Yeah, but you do need them both. Sometimes it's for someone who's so, I don't want to say headstrong, but you know what I mean? Where it's like, I have to do this, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to get this done. And it also plays into personality types too, where it's are you a type A or a type B? And different philosophy mindsets.
Type A or type B.
Have you never heard about that?
Never once in my life, Kyle.
Really?
No, I've heard about it.
Yeah, so type A personality is where you're very goal-oriented, very, you know, some people, strong type A personalities have their agendas filled with, like, down to every 5 minutes of what's going on in their day, and which then breaks down into their week and then their month. And it's just so precise and organized, whereas a type B is kind of a lot more go with the flow, you know, whatever happens, happens, it is what it is. They'll, you know, if a plan falls through, it's not going to make them upset. They'll be like, oh, I'll just find something else to do. Whereas a type A personality, that'll really piss them off. It's like, no, I had planned for you to hang out with me at this time. Now that you can't, that messes up my whole schedule. I
gave you a 5-minute water break.
Yeah, like some people are like that. Like, honestly, that's how far they go. And those are really strong type A personalities, but...
Yeah. Type A's are, I guess, if you had to put it simply, they're workaholics.
I don't even want to say workaholic. I mean, because a type B can be workaholic.
Because type B's, they're flexible. They're docile. They're like...
Type A are just more goal or more organized.
They take a lot of... They're good under stress because they do a lot of, like, they have everything kind of pre-planned.
Yeah.
And they are just, they're doers. They get stuff done, but if things don't go their way, they can kind of be a little anxious and they
that can throw off impatient. Their whole, that's the whole thing. I would say I'm not a type A personality. I am not organized in any way, shape, or form.
I'm like a type B, if I had to say. Like,
yeah,
I just follow.
If something falls through, I'm like, that's fine. It's whatever.
Like, I'll kind of get, like, a little bit, like, ugh.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I plan my, like, days, like, in my head. I don't write it down or anything.
Right.
But then I don't end up doing a lot of the things I plan until, like, the last minute anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What would that?
Where am I?
Well,
I think it's based on more of your reaction. How, like, let's say, like... let's say we plan let's say we plan a one shot and you get all your stuff ready for it, and then we all bail it. This is an extreme, obviously, but I don't like that example because obviously you're going to be upset because you put a lot of work into that. Let's say you and I are going to go get lunch tomorrow afternoon, and work is super busy, and I have to text you and be like, "Hey, I'm super swamped. I can't make it today." What's your reaction to that? Is it, why would Mitch make plans in advance?
When are you sending it to me?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, when is it?
Because if you're sending it to me, like, when I'm already there.
Yeah, is it like last minute?
It's probably going to be like a 30-minute heads up. That's probably, at most, that's what I'm going to give you.
30 minutes, I can change my plans.
Yeah.
Last minute, it's going to be harder.
Like, I go sit down at the restaurant expecting you to be there, and then, like, 5 minutes later, you're like, hey, I'm not going to make it. It's like, oh, well,
that sucks.
That doesn't make me feel great.
Yeah. It's just, for me, a type A and a type B differential is how the reactions play out. Type B is going to be like, in this situation, let's say I do text you 5 minutes before and you're at the restaurant. Type B is going to be like, that chicken pasta still sounds really good. I'm going to get some. And a type A is going to be like,
let's just do off my plans completely. Like, now
now what do I do?
Yeah, it's like, well,
do I go back home and make lunch? Like,
do I stay here?
And then you kind of get in, and this is not the best example, but it's like, well, now what do I do? Do I go home? Do I go get something here? Do I go somewhere else? Do I try to make plans really quickly? Like,
yeah,
so type A gets overwhelmed easily.
I mean, it's not even that. They follow goals. They follow goals to the T. They're good under stress, but if things don't go entirely as planned, they get impatient, they get anxious, they get weary. It's like, I made sure that these things are supposed to happen at this moment. And because it's not happening at this moment, I feel stressed.
That sounds like somebody who needs to relax.
Yeah. Like they're workaholics. Like, I need to get stuff done. And now there's a wrench in my plans. And I'm kind of just in a zone where it's like I'm stuck. Type Bs are like, I want to get stuff done at my own pace, at my own time, and if there's a wrench in my plans, I'll work around it.
Type A's are your everyday workers, and then Type B are your creative people?
I guess,
yes.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and they said Type A personality is characterized by a constant feeling of working against the clock and a strong sense of competitiveness. Individuals with the Type A personality generally experience a high stress level, hate failure, and find it difficult to stop working even when they have achieved their goal.
Yeah, so they're constantly working, and they're constantly having plans and goals.
Where's the Type B at?
And once something doesn't go in their favor, they start to get really stressed because it's not going the way that they thought it was going to go. Whereas Type B, something doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm going to move and try to work around it to the best of my ability. And
yeah, so Type
I
B.
feel like if things don't go as you wanted them to, like, everybody gets stressed, though.
Yeah, but I think with Type A's, they get like
this is what
super duper stressed.
Type
and they're
B.
Stuck.
Yeah, this is what Type B is from the same article. It says Type B personality is characterized by a relaxed, patient, and easygoing nature. Individuals with a Type B personality work steadily, enjoy achievements, but do not tend to become stressed when goals are not achieved. People with Type B personality tend to be more tolerant of others and are more relaxed than Type A individuals, more reflective, experience lower levels of anxiety, and display a higher level of imagination and creativity.
It's like a left versus right side of the brain kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, which...
Well,
yeah. Because, like,
the hard part for me is, like, I'm not a patient person.
Right.
I mean, you guys can attest to that?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
When we're 2 minutes late to D&D.
Yes.
Very much so.
I would even say this.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
That's okay. It keeps me on time.
Because I looked it up, right? There are actually 5 types. A, B, C, D, and X.
Oh my gosh.
I did not know that.
So C and D.
Well,
C and D's are.
Like the more you like refine it, the more there are gonna be, because 2 groups for an entire race of people.
Because there's actually
anyway.
Because Type X would probably be what you are, because a Type X is a mix of multiple types. So you're laid back when you want to be, but when you want to actually get stuff done, you turn on the switch and you switch to Type A.
But
you can also switch between Type B and A. Switch hitter. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a switch hitter, man.
And you're essentially able to kind of swap between the 2 types, because there are people who are dead set on one type. But I think you might be that type that it's like, I can kind of just switch between whatever I want depending on the situation.
Right. Because you can also be super creative, man.
Yeah, because you can be laid back and really chill, and you can also be patient, and you can also be impatient. You can also be anxious. You can also be all these other things. But you have the ability to kind of switch between the 2 to a point where I'm not defined as this or this. I'm kind of both, depending on what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and what happens, like during, after, and everything.
Mitch can be like that, though. Mitch can be a Type A person.
Oh, I can be. I hate being it, but I definitely flip the switch sometimes. It's like, okay. Yeah. I would probably fall into the same mindset as the Type X.
I would probably be a Type B. I'm really laid back. I mean, if things don't go my way,
I don't think I've ever seen you crack the whip.
Nah.
Me? Oh, Kyle.
I can't. I don't have that kind of ability to just turn. I can do it. Like, there's times where I can really, really, really focus, but most of the time I'm completely laid back to the point where I'm like, if I don't get what I want, it's like, all right, I'll be a little like, but I'll just move on to the next thing and just see how that goes.
See, I used to be like that too, but then I went to college and
I think
had to rely on others to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, obviously you guys aren't going to put in the work, so you need to get your shit together.
Yeah, it was kind of the opposite for me because I used to be that way in high school, and I was like workaholic, work, whatever, because I was just, I was pretty bad at it back in the day.
I used to work a lot.
And then I switched, and now I'm back in college, and I'm like, well, now everything just kind of seems, I don't know, it just kind of goes with the flow of everything. Like, things will be due.
I've gotten significantly more laid back in college than I have before college. Like,
there have been stressful moments, like, with exams and finals, but other than that, everything else has just been kind of like, I'm just kind of going with the flow. Finish times when they need to be done. And if I do a quiz and I don't get, like, the best score, I'm not going to be like, oh, shoot. I'll just say, all right, well, that's my score for that one. Time to go on to the next one.
We'll take the L there.
We'll take that L and we'll head on to the next one.
We'll take the next W, though.
Yep, exactly.
No, like, I don't think I was ever a creative person before I came to college. Like, 100.
Really?
No.
You really broaden your horizons. Because, like, you gotta figure out what you really want to
more
like
of a
do.
Relaxed setting, I think, is when you can, like, you don't have somebody like constantly over your shoulder, like my parents. Like, they weren't bad or anything, but they just had like high expectations, you know.
Yeah.
That's them, and that's like not there. You get like a chance to do other stuff. I feel like.
Yeah, no, I can kind of get where you're coming from. It's kind of freeing almost because you're like I'm free to do what I want, and I'll talk to my parents every now and again when I want to, but I don't have that constant feeling, I guess, over my shoulder of like I have to do this to the T. I can just like I can just kind of go where I want when I want, and I'll still follow what they've taught me because they're my parents, and I'll follow whatever they taught me. But like for the first time, I actually feel kind of free, and having that freedom is good because you're out in the world doing whatever you want to do, being passionate about whatever you want, and in turn you kind of get rewarded for it because of that freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, on that note, I think that's a good place to end the first half.
Oh, yeah, I think we've got a lot covered there, but I am extremely excited for the next half.
Yeah.
For sure. So D&D coming up. Don't miss it.
And we'll be right back.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, from our ad break. And you know what time it is?
D&D.
Yes, sir. It's the D&D discussion, where we usually talk about our D&D sessions, of course. So, where do we even start with this one? You want to start this one off, Mitch? You want to give us a little bit of what's going on?
Start us off.
Yeah.
I will start us off. We traveled.
Yes, we did.
Yep.
We traveled, and we traveled some more, and then we came across the...
What did we come across? Come on.
This is embarrassing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Phone a friend.
Yeah, ring.
Nope.
You got this.
Okay.
The Den of Spindles. We made it to the Den of Spindles.
For some reason, I was thinking like
Despacito?
No. Despitter's Willow or something.
I was like, what is he? Oh, yeah. So to kind of give more clarity, we are still on our trail. We got our carriage, we got our horses, and we're heading down to take out some basilisks. And along the way, we encountered we were still on the King's Road for most of this, for all of it mostly, and we get to this little point where we can either keep going down the path that we were going, or we take this little shortcut through the Den of Spindles. And of course, our gracious DM did tell us some details about the Den of Spindles.
Zion told you,
of course, through the DM, that he
through the DM, yes,
that the den of spindles are home to phase spiders, which are not fun.
No, they're so cool. I kind of wanted to master one.
They are cool. They're not fun to fight, but they're
pretty
cool. I mean, they're spiders that can essentially hop dimensions. Big spiders, not your typical house spider. They're about 8 foot tall, and they're scary.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but the one shot we ran in Rapid City, did that have a phasing spider?
It did.
Nice.
Yeah, it did.
Because Faku could had a spell that he could plane shift.
Yeah,
and he fought the spider in the.
He fought the spider in the. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
you had like a dimension hopping battle with a phase spider, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, Faku, man, what a guy.
So we encountered. Well, we didn't really fight any of them because
Yeah, what a
Faku. What a name. Yeah.
First ever D&D character. What was his name, man? Faku.
Faku.
Oh, I'm offended. Yeah, you didn't have to say it. No, that was his name.
That's his
Faku.
name. Do
you mean fuck you? No, Faku.
Yeah. F-U-K.
Who are you fucking? No one. It's Faku.
Yeah. So.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I took that too far.
Yeah. No, it's fine. So.
There's actually I think there's like a denomination of hentai that's called Faku.
Oh.
I think of Futa.
I don't even think that's a joke. You know what I'm talking about, Kyle?
I have a feeling. We'll discuss this on another time. So
catch us in the 50-50 after hours.
Yeah. Oh God, no.
Oh, man, what are you doing?
Yikes. So fuck.
No, fuck who?
So we encounter this kind of conundrum of whether or not we want to take the extra couple of days going around or going through and cutting a week off of our travels.
Because Edwin had a vision.
Yeah, so
he channeled his aspect and he saw us. He saw Dominion guards being pulled away in webbing like material.
Yep.
Being dragged off with you said not a guild,
what do you mean?
A checkpoint?
Checkpoint?
Yeah, at the checkpoint.
Yeah,
a garrison.
Yeah, we came across.
Garrison,
yeah, in his vision, he came across a garrison, which was also being ambushed by some spiders.
The phase spiders.
And Edwin was being essentially dragged by some substances, sticky substances that are not rope-like, but we can just assume they're webs. And
correct.
With that, we decided to go the safe route and just kind of cut around and just kind of go even farther away from and take about a day and a half.
That's right.
To get back on the road.
2.5 days.
2.5. Oh yeah, it was 2.5 days. Yeah.
Because
so
we're gonna do one day. That's what you thought it would do, but yeah.
Right.
Continue.
So we decide to kind of bypass that, and we get through the Den of Spindles and.
Unscathed.
Well, almost. We got to this little part in the road, and Zion and Edwin kind of notice like a sound, it was like a sound, and we stopped. We looked around for a moment, didn't entirely know what was going on, so I got out the carriage, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if my aspect works with this situation. Getting just prior experience from when I did it in the another part of the woods when I did the same thing, and to see how it goes. I investigate the trees just to see if there could feel like any kind of life forms in the area, if that's even possible. And my aspect triggers, and I see a very, very frightening sight for a guy who's doesn't know where he is and is encountered by phase spiders. That around the entire top of us, we are getting encircled by 8-foot phase spiders that are currently being in their dimension. And we had 3 choices: run, fight, or hide. Now, fighting phase spiders, especially a gang of them, not the best.
I think we should have tried it.
No. I was
Zion was there for it. He needs to make his sword space bigger.
Fair. And
true.
Yeah, and on the other end, I guess oh boy. On the other end, we kind of just was like, all right, well, we can definitely tell that these phase spiders mean harm So we gotta dip.
I think they would have been friendly. I think they would have been like the Leviathan.
Yeah, but us and spiders never usually go well.
Guys, the theme of this campaign is follow the spider.
The spiders were following us, and they were hungry. They wanted to eat us. And I was like, no, sir.
Maybe they just wanted blood drinker.
Maybe, but we...
Have you seen that horse's eyes?
When you talked about, hey, maybe if we just leave the horses, I was laughing so hard, and I was laughing because I was like, dude, that could actually work.
Yeah, because they would probably just go for anything. I mean, they're hungry, right. So you just leave the horses and run into the forest. The horses would die.
They're animals. Like,
I mean,
you lose the horses.
Meat's meat. I mean, it doesn't really, unless you're a blood drinker and you eat meat and then you...
then you shit and throw up.
The next thing you know, you start having a fucking goddamn episode. Which now, like, looking back on it, I could have just used prestidigitation to clean it up myself because I have that as a cantrip. I never use it, but I have it. I just never thought about it because I'm just like, I guess I could have used that in hindsight to maybe help out with the cleanup, but I like chaos in certain moments.
Give me the chaos emeralds.
So we get out of the den of spiders, and Axel almost broke off of our carriage. Which
yes,
was
because a guy who's never rode a horse. Well, no, you've rode a horse.
I've rode a horse. I just haven't drove a carriage with 3 horses on it.
A guy who's never drove a carriage with 3 horses is driving this carriage with 3 horses.
Yeah, but I did damn good keeping that thing steady and stable.
To quote the DM, your axle doesn't break.
And you know what? That sounds a lot better than your axle breaks. So I will take that as a win for me. So we get out of the den of spiders. We get out of the really foresty part, the dangerous part of it, and we enter...
We get back on the road.
We enter a town area.
Yes.
Which seems unfamiliar to Zion, though he believes we're going the right way.
Well, no, before you go into the town, you're forgetting.
Oh.
You are forgetting about... sorry, I got away from my mic.
Yep.
You were forgetting.
Me?
Yes,
you seem to be forgetting
town.
as well.
The ghost town. We come across this ghouly-looking town with no life.
Yeah.
Little holes in the building.
So
Artemis does a little fly around and checks it out.
Yeah, and he sees a lot of, nothing other than the fact that there are perfectly cylindrical holes into various buildings. No real sign of people. Even when looking inside of certain buildings, there's just no one there. And the attacks seemed rather I guess not planned,
reminiscent,
articulated, and it seemed very reminiscent to something me and Zion had faced in our first, or I guess session 0 for us.
Yes,
with the aboleths and stuff, with the ooze things, and but this one seemed different just because of the fact that whereas we faced them before in session 0, where they just kind of overpowered and just broke in through like a roof and caved it in and left traces of goopy skeleton stuff, clean finger-licking bones.
Finger-licking bones.
Did you make a KFC reference?
Yes, I did. Instead, there are no bodies, there are no skeletons, and all the holes are perfectly cylindrical, perfectly articulated. And me and Zion both kind of have a thought of, well, if these are the aboleths, these are a lot more powerful and probably more intelligent. Plus, the DM Matt also mentions that if there was a hotel of 30 people, there would be 10 holes, which throws up a couple of theories. One, it's a big aboleth nesting in this town, and it just murdered everybody. 2, there is a couple medium-sized ones that have just kind of been attacking. Or 3, there are just multiple small ones. What was that?
I showed you how big the holes were, right?
It's like a water bottle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the bottom of the water bottle. That's how big the holes were in the building.
Okay, so they were okay.
Smell.
So
a theory I had is like I didn't say this out loud.
Baby aboleths.
No. Zion thought in his head that there's holes in the building, but although there's no bodies because they were dragged to the Underdark, which we were originally exploring.
Yeah, because the town center was collapsed.
Were there any signs of struggle outside?
No.
No, that's why I'm thinking they came up through the building.
From underground. That would make sense.
I don't know how the holes got there. That doesn't explain that.
Them.
What?
I guess we should have just investigated.
Only you checked them.
I know, right?
If only we investigated the town.
Zion was like, this could be a possibility, but we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to keep moving on.
Because, like...
I don't got to do time with that.
We've dealt with aboleths before, and we almost died. I mean, granted, we don't...
We probably should have taken care of it. But again, also, that's a mission that we haven't completed yet, and I really don't want to open up that can of worms and be like, where's the ooze at?
More ooze.
Well, you see here.
You see.
Muhammad.
Yeah. So
why do you look different, Zion? I don't know what you're talking. Your eyes are way bluer.
The contacts.
My power level reader is reading way higher on you than I remember.
Jeez, you're so powerful, so strong.
Didn't you die when you went to your
eyes narrow?
Interesting.
Roll a deception check with disadvantage because you're talking to the pure God himself.
You're talking to God. roll with 2 disadvantages.
Take the third lowest number.
Roll with double disadvantage.
Oh.
Double D's.
But I'm a half elf, so I have it.
Don't roll with double D's. Oh, God. So, we decide to... Literally. Oh, God. So we decide to... not go that way, and we decided to just kind of continue on our given path, and
I told the group, I was like, this is something we address on the way back.
Yeah. So we get to this small town.
Small town USA.
Which is unfamiliar to Zion, because he believes he's going the right way. I mean, he's confident he's going the right way.
Yeah.
But it seems like this doesn't seem right. I mean, Edwin's been here, but only when he's on a bender through the Dominion, so everything's kind of foggy, but he remembers this place.
I have a theory that just popped in my head.
Yeah, go for it.
Theory time with Mitch. What if we plane shifted without realizing it? Or not plane shift, but I don't know. Like,
what if we hopped realities?
Yeah. What if that?
What if the Edwin we met here isn't the Edwin that we originally met?
What if Zion isn't the original Zion we met?
Because Edwin knows this place, and it's like it's always been here, but you've been down the same road, and this wasn't, or at least you don't remember this being here.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility. The question, I guess, would be,
because Matt made me roll a history check with the house, but you didn't have me do one with the
town.
With the town, which is interesting. It could just be that it was such a small port that I would never have fucked with it.
Yeah, but if it was on the main road, it'd be strange, because you know where you're kind of going, and this town probably never passed you when you were going down this way. So either it's like this had just been here, made before, after you left, or this is just an entirely new thing for you. And we just hop realities, which is it's more out there, but it could be possible with everything going on. But we do
better than thinking Dominus is fucking the Raven Queen.
Yeah, well, I mean, that could also be happening. So
it's actually pretty likely happening. I feel very strongly about that.
I feel like the Raven Queen might be thwarting against the Dominus.
False.
I
feel like the Dominus and the Raven Queen are thwarting against the rest of the gods.
I guess we'll just have to see when we get there.
Next time on Dude.
Yeah. So we get to this small town.
First, we have to get to this basilisk oil.
Yeah. So we get into town, and we kind of go over just talking about where we can find, where the basilisks are, which way do we kind of take from here, what kind of coin can we get if we get some basilisk skins, so maybe we can sell some basilisk oil on the side, and
get some money,
and they kind of point us in the direction of a man named Captain Astor, who sounds very familiar to a Lord Astor from a play. Isn't that correct, Matt?
Astor is his first name too.
Yeah, as soon as I heard Captain Astor, I was like, Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold on.
See, I just thought they were laughing about it sounding like ass. I was like, yeah, that's funny.
No, to kind of give some more context, Lord Aster is a character from Peter and the Starcatcher. So
he's the character I play.
Yeah, which is a character that Matt does play. So when we heard that, we were like, did he just put his own character into the into DnD? What a guy. What a guy.
What a narcissistic piece of...
So
if only Faku could make it in this world.
Yeah, honestly. We need Seto, Faku.
How do you know they're not?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
We don't.
Honestly, this is gonna seem like a freaking Avengers Endgame situation where all of our past campaigns, one shots, have now all kind of meet.
Doctor Strange rolls up. I'm here to save you.
This is the one.
This is the one.
Yeah. So we get to town. We meet Captain Aster. Very interesting fellow. Very lavish.
Seems to be on the run.
He's not like on the run. He's just.
He's
not a favorite in town.
I was gonna say, I feel like he wanted to leave very quickly.
Yeah, he's not considered a town favorite.
He's a high risk trader.
High risk trader. Trader as in TRAITOR. Just he's a straight up trader. He betrays people and
he's a user.
Trader.
Yeah, he's a standard high risk trader of certain goods. So he kind of tells us services. And he kind of tells us that
like blowjobs.
No, not like that.
Not that we know of yet.
Okay. So he tells us that I have a few islands that may hold basilisks that I know of. If you want to come with, we have to make a stop to do a couple of trades with some people. But I can help you with yours if you help me with mine. I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we make an agreement, and we set out to essentially...
Make an arrangement.
Yeah, and we set out to find some stuff to prepare for. Anti-petrification spells, health spells, potions, really anything that kind of goes with what
there
we
was
need.
a purple potion that I really wanted to buy, but I had no money.
We met this very nice gnome woman named Harvinter. And, she was nice to some of us and a little to other people, but...
Yeah, apparently she doesn't like the Dominion getting involved in stuff.
She doesn't really like a lot. She had a thing with me. She talked to me for a little bit. And we're like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, fucking weirdos. And yeah. And we get what? We get a couple of anti-petrification potions. I believe 4 in total.
4, yep.
We get a couple of greater healings.
We get a greater healing.
I don't know why I said a couple. And some regular.
3 regulars?
Yep.
Regulars?
And we were going to get the elusive purple potion that she told us was for sure water breathing, but seeing as we already had water breathing and there were 2 very different colors, we decided not to get it, which is very smart. After some haggling and some, from our resident hagger, is that a word? Let's call it a word, from Zilvana, which, by the way, is now Brazil/Timeless's new character.
Hold on, I have a list of all of Liz's characters.
Yeah, please, let's pull it up. So we have...
I keep a going list under her
Of course, Brazil is the halfling. And then we have Timeless, who is the tiefling, and Sylvana.
Sylvana.
Yeah,
it's not Sylvana.
There's an A.
Sylvana.
Yeah. Which is a high elf.
Where did I even write that?
I have no idea.
Sylvana, Brazil, and Timeless.
Which is only 3 out of the...
Oh, I wrote it up here.
Possibly various. You also put Brazil as Varzil.
Yeah, let's not talk about my notes taking, okay?
Brazil? You put it down as Brazil?
No, Varzil. 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 Yeah, he has that as Varzil.
All right. My typing sometimes goes faster than my brain.
I suppose. So
it's like dyslexia, but for the fingers.
So we stock up on our potions.
We get stocked up.
And we get back to the ship. And we set sail for our next possible dangerous adventure. And that is kind of where we ended the session.
You're forgetting
something.
Yeah,
I did.
You forgot something.
Oh, yes, Aurelian killed those kids. There was also that.
That too, but you also forgot something else.
Oh, right. So Aurelian killed those kids. I thought I covered that already.
No. I mean, yes, she did kill those kids.
What am I forgetting?
What's something that's super huge to Zion?
I guess there's also you. So I guess Zion
there is me, yes.
was able to...
no, I wouldn't say it.
You say it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so this dang Dragon Rider's necklace I've been working on for like 5 sessions now.
Yeah.
I was so close for the first 2 times. I rolled 17s both time, and I figured out later on, like 2 weeks later, that I get to double my proficiency bonus when I'm dealing with dragons because, the sorcerer stuff. And then I rolled like crap the next 2 times I made the check, and I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And last night, I got a natural 20 on the check. So now I'm a Dragon Rider.
Yeah, you're Hiccup.
I'm better than Hiccup.
Hiccup has 3 movies. He has 3 movies.
Yeah,
what do you have?
I have a bitch dragon.
Everyone likes Toothless. Come on now.
I have obsidian swords named Lux and Tenebus.
I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't watched a single How to Train Your Dragon movie.
Oh, no, they're good. I really like
I just know Hiccup and Toothless.
The first one.
Yo, that's just,
I like the last one.
Hey, we can debate this on another episode.
Yeah.
We can talk about how great the How to Train Your Dragon series is in another episode.
How the How to Train Your Dragon series has fallen.
So, yeah, he obtains the ability to ride dragons, and anything involving dragons is a lot easier to do now. So.
Yeah, so any check I get to make, I get to add my proficiency bonus while riding the dragon, which is cool.
Yeah.
I can get a dragon as my beast now, as with the Ranger Beastmaster subclass, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Sad, but cool. That's a road we have to cross when we cross it, and I'm not looking forward to that.
Which we'll have to just see what happens next time. And I am excited for next time. I think we're going to see a lot of stuff kind of going down. I think we might actually get involved with the Basilisk the next session if the gods are willing, if the deities are willing to give us, But with the Cerulean thing too, there was a couple things that I kind of picked up on.
She's a woman.
To kind of give us some context. We encountered some bandits. They were essentially children, and we kind of spared them because they're children. Although Timeless did kill one, pretty efficiently, which kind of scared me. But anyway, Arthur wanted to punch the 7-year-old child into the dirt. That's
not concerning for you?
It's a little bit. He pushed him, so that's a little safer. He didn't die, except now he did. So Cerulean.
Oh my God.
Pushed him.
Yeah, Arthur pushed him.
Right. Yeah. It's the quote of he didn't die.
Yeah. He didn't die at that. He didn't die at that point, but then he totally did.
Does die.
So Cerulean kind of comes up a little later. That I'm gonna guess it's probably
nighttime.
A couple days maybe, kind of passed. I'm gonna assume, or it was the night of. Never mind. And she kind of encounters the two, kills one of them with like a blue bolt, just kind of crumbles into dust like you've been snapped.
You've been Thanos.
Yeah. And then.
Say his name.
She essentially just kind of sucks the life out of the 7-year-old child.
She was like, Nunu.
Golly, yeah. But there were some things that I caught in terms of just dialogue. Some things like they were a lot nicer this time. Which kind of was like, oh, so we must have seen this or done this before, except we didn't let them live. We obviously did something we weren't as nice as last time, which gives me the feeling that...
Zion probably just was like, fuck this, and then told Una just to, like, spray breath them all. Which would have killed him.
Yeah,
to be honest, I thought about that.
Perhaps that's what was going to happen. Perhaps that was what was going to happen.
Almost like somebody picked up on that.
Yeah.
Me.
I did.
What do you mean you picked up?
It wasn't just you that had that inkling. I was looking around. There were a lot of people that were thinking that same thing.
Which is...
Killing him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was like one of the... Because I didn't immediately like...
You were in the minority, Kyle.
Yeah, I was one of the people who was like, I don't want to kill these people because they're kids. And everyone... Well, like, one was like, I'm going to punch him. And I know for a fact, if Arthur punched that kid, it done. It's a child. And he is a... almost 7-foot tall, muscular man about to give him a 1-2 Chris Breezy for show and like knock him out and maybe kill him.
Give her the 1-2 Chris Breezy for show.
So like So
Chris
it's
Brown what?
the Chris Brown who? So it was interesting to me that that at this point it gives me the feeling that Cerulean has the ability to jump different realities, right? So
or the Deep told her about it.
Here's the thing. And now it's Kyle's theory time.
Nice.
All right?
Okay.
New theory.
Okay.
This is about Cerulean.
Okay.
What if Cerulean from the one shot is the same Cerulean from this that we've just met?
Yeah, but she's talked about being a kid and whatnot.
Yeah. But we don't know if that Cerulean was also a kid at her point in time.
True, I guess.
Because what if she died in the darkness, but then just appeared in a sword space, and then she then rips into a new dimension.
In our one shot, though, we jumped in
to our dimension
shortly after we left.
Yeah,
our unnamed party.
She didn't throw it. Obviously, she couldn't throw us back into where me and Brandon's like tieflings were, because we're obviously like, it's gone, right? But the portal led to that specific reality. At least that's what we know of, because it's the same house with the same fog inside. And
I thought it was the same house, like shortly, and I thought we could hear like movement up. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but how did the end of that one shot go?
It ended with you guys in the house that you were in before. I didn't give you a specification on time.
No.
Or like the amount of dilapidation.
Okay. It was the same house. Was there blue fog in there in the house?
Yeah, the fog was in the house. It was after you guys had come.
Yeah, so it was after the events that took place in our main campaign. Yeah. So,
but you didn't. I don't think you heard anything upstairs.
No, there wasn't like any movement or anything.
For some reason, I thought I heard.
The fog entered that house. So, either our one-shot characters are in the same reality that we are in, or they're in a very similar spot. But still, right? Like Cerulean made this kind of thing, and I think Grum and I think Sir Alistair also helped. But like this was also Cerulean's like big plan, and it makes you think about it too, because like she took all these people right from all these different places, and put them in a house, and then just said, do what you want. And then they all die. Most people die. Not everyone, but most people, right?
Well, they die because of the darkness, or because of the...
Not everyone. Everyone kind of got hit by traps or monsters in the house. And there were some that got hit by the darkness, right? But why would Cerulean do this? Why would she just make a game for people to die? Unless she is trying to, get her sword space to be bigger by creating this dimension-shifting
I feel like
house.
The fact that she has a moon.
Yeah. But, like, isn't it crazy that she took all these people from these separate realities, threw them into this house just to die, and, of course, there were keys to find, but people died trying to find them damn keys.
I feel like having the aspect of annihilation do that doesn't seem too far off.
It doesn't seem too far off. Now, the fact that she took them from different realities makes it seem like she can hop different realities to grab these people. And she does die, but does she actually die? Knowing the aspects don't really die, she could have just entered a sword space, flung us into this reality, and then ripped a hole into it and jumped in as well. Or this could be the same Cerulean that we met when she was a kid, grew up, did the thing, opened up and took these people out to feel her aspect, jumped back into our reality, and now that's still the same Cerulean. Because it'd just be strange for someone like that to just do it for fun, unless she's like, I'm fueling my aspect and I'm getting stronger. And now the fact that she's mentioning different versions of like, yeah, they weren't as nice this time.
Important note from the one shot, Cerulean's eyes were still green in the one shot. Just so you know.
Okay. Yeah. I remember you mentioning that she was more or less like just regular Cerulean, nothing exactly like she was. I think you also mentioned she was also an adult too by the time we met her.
And she's a teenager in this one.
Yeah, which is also...
I think I said 16, 17, or 18.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, it's...
Oh, obviously, actually older than that, but that's her
appearance. But her appearance is, like, way younger, which is also why this theory might be a little wonky, because it's like, well, we met her in one shot, she was adult. Right now, she's a teenager.
She was a kid at one point.
She was a kid, and that was also due to the...
Smoke.
The fog and the mist.
From the hooded figure.
So, I mean... She could that could still be the same Cerulean, right? She could be. It's a stretch, but she could also just have grown up to that adult form, did that stuff, feel your aspect, and then just went into the fog and just de-aged herself back. It is a possibility. It's a stretch because how do you grow from a kid to an adult so fast? But it is a possibility because why would Cerulean do something that is extremely fucked up?
I was going to say.
But knowing Cerulean nuked an entire city, is it all that fucked up for her?
Do you guys not remember why she had the people in this house?
It's kind of foggy.
It was
no pun intended.
for a party. It was for a... Like for funsies.
She used the suffering of their souls when they died in the house to power the portal.
True.
That's why the last key was in the soul room.
Yep. So, right. So she needed...
So she was trying to open a portal.
She was trying to open a portal because I'm pretty sure Cerulean knew about the darkness. And she was trying to... And she saw... And she probably took all these people from different realities because the darkness was taking their realities. And they were giving them a way out. But in order to get out, people had to die. So...
She wanted a way out.
Yeah.
Do you know who she didn't get, though?
Who?
Trevor.
Yeah, the one person she probably wanted to die, the savior.
Yeah, that's true.
So Cerulean wanted a way out, but she didn't get out. She died.
Nope.
Or at least that's what we think happened. All we know is that they got consumed by the darkness and they all fell and they all like. I can believe Grom. I can believe Sir Alistair. It's just Cerulean is kind of strange.
I love Cerulean.
Cerulean is an intriguing character, but that is my
player to character.
That
Mitch
is my
Cerulean.
Oh boy, that is
Mitch
my
go for it.
You're shipping Zion Cerulean.
Not character to character, player to character.
Mitch loves Cerulean.
Yep.
But yeah, that is my Kyle theory of the day. It's a stretch, this one, but it could possibly happen with so much stuff involving different realities, different versions of us, different events that kind of happen, and the way that Cerulean kind of acts and does things. I just kind of have a feeling that she did a lot of this and then is still the same Cerulean that we met in the one shot. Because, like, she had to have killed a lot of people. She's lived for a very long time. So it could... And this is also really, really big stretch, too. But maybe that Cerulean that we saw is the same Cerulean before she turned into a kid, right?
Oh, so you're saying it's Cerulean from the past?
It's Cerulean from the past flinging these people into the future.
Into the future.
Okay. And the kid, Cerulean, is the same Cerulean, but she stumbled into this reality, got into the fog, and turned into a kid. That is also something that could have happened. Also a stretch, but with the way time and multiverses work, things can be manipulated a little bit. And she did talk about time magic for a little bit there. So she does. She is experienced with time travel, and she knows it's bad, but it has helped her out.
Yeah, get away from the darkness.
Get away from the darkness and fling people into other timelines in the future, and then she just hops in with them. Possibly. But yeah, that's all I got. Something to think about.
Mitch, before we head off, do you got any theories?
Yeah.
I already got my theories out. I did want to ask Matt, so from your perspective, how did the session go? Not to get into it too much, but... I guess I can...
It's hard when you guys have to go so far.
Right.
And, like, I have to make that interesting without it being just repetitive, you know?
Right.
So that's a challenge, but other than that, I thought it went all right.
I was going to say, were you expecting us to...
where you need to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you expecting us to get to the Basilisk this session or no?
Depended on how the trip went, to be honest. You guys did a lot of smart things. Edwin using his aspect really helped.
Yeah.
Dang.
Because that took out...
It's essentially like a totem from Until Dawn.
I had planned, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I think that's why I'm like, I know we go through a lot of traveling, but like with the traveling, it's also that building anticipation.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this next session, things are definitely going to start getting into the groove of things.
Yeah, because we're going to actually have combat.
We might not actually like fight, but I know it'll be this session or next session for sure that these basilisks are about to either A, beat our ass, or B, we beat its ass.
No, we're beating that ass.
Either way, it's going to be kind of tough because they are basilisks, and, everyone's trying to figure out.
We just got to follow the spiders. This is Harry Potter.
We're literally sailing on water. There are no spiders in the water. How are we going to do that?
But there was a basilisk in Harry Potter 2.
Yeah, and they had
giant crabs.
Giant spider crabs.
The phase spiders appear out of nowhere.
Phase crabs.
Yeah.
All right.
But I believe with that being said, I believe it is time to wrap it up here.
Yep.
Thank you guys for listening to the 50-50 Take It or Leave It podcast. We always appreciate you guys listening in. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.